All right. Thank you all so much for joining us this morning. We really do appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I think it's exciting what
You're
you're
welcome.
doing.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for joining us this. Oops. Okay, it's a live stream. Okay, let's see here. Perfect. We got it all locked and loaded. Now I just hope my hotspot can hold out. It's my biggest fear now. The internet came back on. You believe it, Serena? The internet went out 30 minutes ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was awesome, right? Perfect timing. That's okay.
But it came back. That's a good thing.
No, it hasn't came back. I'm on my
Oh.
Yeah, it didn't come back. Yeah, it happens. So in case we get disconnected, Serena, you're our backup host. Deal?
Okay. Okay.
Need you to switch gear into your PM mode. Jamie, are you back in? Wow, I think the Wi-Fi is back on. Let me test it, bro. I don't want you to. Are you logged in? Yeah, go ahead, log in. We're good. We're live. You got Wi-Fi. Nope, nope. I was wrong. It was nope, no Wi-Fi. Okay, I'll keep checking. Awesome. Gotta love Chromecast.
I was looking forward to this moment to have more information about the study.
That's awesome.
It's going to be very interesting.
Yes. We got some pretty cool folks here today. She can't get in. Oh, boy. Okay. Yes,
The address that I'm not getting in.
you're not getting in?
So
Okay.
just add me under, PJ.
I just sent you a link. Check that out. Good thing I didn't wear shorts today. I was just getting up. I'm doing. All right, so we're good.
Yeah, we're good. How many people joined so far?
Sharing the screen. Let's see here. I don't know.
Hi, Erica. All right, let's get started. All right, everyone. Welcome to our, I hope I'm not echoing. Is there an echo?
No, I don't hear an echo.
Oh, no.
Awesome. All right, so welcome to this clearance process with us. My name is Jamie. And one of the co-owners of the school. Paul, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. Name is Paul Oyelakin. I'm co-owner of PJ Professional IT Services. We are a cybersecurity contract company, and we also have PJ Courses, which is our cybersecurity training program.
Yeah. So just before we jump into the next slide, I wanted to let everyone know, and we're grateful for the people that have come on as panelists. We're so thankful for you guys. I'll introduce them quickly. All right. So we're going to have Thea. Thea has worked in HR for a contracting company and has done a lot of work in terms of, talking to employees, helping them through their application process for the security clearance. And she's going to talk about it from that perspective. And then, we have Christy Roundtree. She's our special agent who has worked with Office of Personnel Management from 09 to 2016. So she's going to give us an understanding of what happens in the background, right? When they're doing the background investigation. She was the one who would go and, speak with your friends and find all the information on you, right? So we're going to hear from her as well. And thanks to Thea, we also have an adjudicator, a current adjudicator, which is like so important. And I just hope that, all this will be good for you. This is very laid back, guys. Just take the information. This is just this is like, how can I say this? This is the kind of information that a really good friend is going to give you to help you prepare for your clearance, and to give you, and to just give you some really key, some good information. Now, the reason why we're not specifying certain things is because there is red tape with the clearance process. We tried to get a CIO to speak with us. They wouldn't, because of certain issues that would come up, right? So just understand that this was a very hard webinar to put together. And I'm really grateful for the people who are our panelists, because without them, we wouldn't be able to give you this key important information. All right, so I hope you guys enjoy. Paul, you want to ensure that you're letting people attend, and that people are not waiting to be let in? Is there something?
Did someone say they're not being let in?
I don't know. Do we have? Okay, so we have 22.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
good. Everybody's
automatic.
being let in. Okay.
Yeah, it's automatic.
Okay, awesome.
It's automatic.
All right, good. So we'll just move on to the next slide.
Oh, okay, that's me, right?
This is just a little bit about us.
Need to get into cybersecurity but don't know how or where to start? Call PJ Cybersecurity School at 301-576-2977. Learn from our white hat hackers and cybersecurity specialists who work in the field. Achieve your goal with our tried and proven system, which includes on-the-job style training, certification boot camps, and resume and interview assistance. Call 301-576-2977 and visit us at pjcourses.com. Get trained, get certified, get hired.
All right. So that's our commercial. I hope you guys liked it. I did hard work on it.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
And so without further ado, we're going to go first to Thea. Before we even go there, Paul, before I even go into that, I do believe that we need Althea to go first. Sorry.
Okay.
Thea is going to talk to us about, from her perspective, right? Give us as much information as possible. So we'll ask questions, but she will be able to, she'll tell us everything, from her point of view in HR. All right, can we go to Thea? Thea, you there?
She was there.
No, can you hear me?
Yep,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Okay, I'm connected. Maybe area in. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna try to go as quickly as possible.
No problem.
So as she said, I'm sorry.
Oh no, we're losing
Yeah,
you.
so there's a lag.
You're fading in and out. Let's maybe we should go to the PowerPoint.
No, let's talk to her though.
Okay, it looks like she's in a bad area.
You want to give her some time, Thea?
Hold on, I'm actually moving, trying to get the sun out of my face, but I moved. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you right now.
Okay, all right. Let me pull over right here then.
Yeah, stay right there.
I was trying to get the sun out of my face. Sorry about this, guys. I was on the road, but I didn't want to miss the webinar. So that's why I'm on my phone. So I apologize.
No,
Okay.
You're fine. You're fine. We're just happy you're here. But we can hear you well now, so
All
don't
right.
move.
All right, cool. Okay. I'm starting by saying congratulations, you got the job. So now you come and see me, the initiator. So what would occur is I typically give you, and each agency does things differently. Let me start by saying that. So for the firm that I work for, I would give you some paperwork, and the paperwork is called a CIW, which is a contract information form. And it's pretty much just getting all of your vital statistics. I always try to tell people, please write as clearly as possible on this particular paperwork, because this is how I will start sending you information. So if you know that your handwriting may be like a doctor's handwriting, try to write like a school teacher for that form.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is, so I fill out the form. I mean, you fill out the form, you give it to me. I go on the side of eQuip. I initiate you. I will send you an email with a set of instructions. You have 7 days to complete what's called a FF85, which is a side of your eQuip. I try to tell people before you even start doing your eQuip is a couple of things that you might want to gather so that you'll have the whole information and to fill out that. The first thing you want to do is maybe jot down every place you lived within the last 10 years. Depending on what type of clearance or suitability you're going for, some go back as far as 10 years. So I tend to tell people, write down where you lived for the last 10 years. While you're writing that down, write down your neighbors, because the next question is going to be provide your neighbor's information or someone that knew you while you were at that address. Here's the key. Please don't put your cousin Pookie down if knowing he's going to say something crazy. Mm-hmm. That's going to hurt you in the end. When I did mine, I went and I spoke to my neighbors. I said, hey, I'm doing clearance. These people are going to be trying to reach you. They said, okay. I said, hey, you know what I'm talking? Let's keep it professional. So you make sure that you pick people that will be professional while they're dealing with investigators. The next thing I tell people is to pull out your passport, because you have to put your international travel down and you have to put down your passport information. So you want to have that together. Another thing you want to do is pull your credit report. That's very important because they also place your adjudication, final adjudication off of your credit report. Now, if you have bad credit, I tell people start making payment arrangements. That's very important. Because in the end, they want to see that you are making payments on any debt. Also, checking if you're living above your means.
Althea,
so these are things to keep in mind.
Althea, your voice is it seems to be fading a little bit more and more. We had it going well a few minutes ago, but now I think it's at a point where it's not that audible anymore.
Oh darn! Can you hear? Let me take you off of my car. Let me take you off of. How about now? Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yes, it sounds better.
Okay. All right, great. So what was the last thing you heard that I said?
All right.
Payment arrangement.
Yeah, yes. Make a payment arrangement for your credit. Yes.
Okay, make a payment arrangement. Okay, great. Those are things that you want to make sure that you take care of. So let me make sure I test on.
Althea, you want to have your also, I think the bandwidth might be getting shorted on your end. Can you turn off your camera? Maybe we can get better audio if the camera's out. Just
great.
Trying to improvise. Yeah.
How about now?
Yes, sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, good. So I can relax while I'm talking. Okay. All right, so I told you have your contact information right now, your addresses, pull your credit report, your passport. So those are things that you're going to need to fill out this information. So another tip that I try to tell people, and I hope you don't get offended, if you lied to get the job, please do not lie on this form. That will get you disqualified. If you worked at McDonald's, not at Lockheed Martin for the 3 years you put on your resume, please that you worked at McDonald's. Please. It's very important. I'm sure the investigator will tell you that will come back to much. Okay, so then you fill everything out. In the end, see, this is another trick that people fail to do in the end. You have to release your information to the agency. You may have completed it, but if you do not release it in the end, it will seem as though you did not complete that information. That is very important. So in the end, they'll give you like 3 forms you're supposed to fill out, but it'll be electronic. Once you fill those 3 forms out electronic, sign them electronic, then there will be one last step to say, if you are satisfied or something along those lines, and you would like to release this to the agency, press yes. Please make sure to press that. And another way you could go back and make sure that you've done that is to log back in. If you cannot log back in, then you have released it to the agency. But if you can log in, you should go back and fill all that out.
Excellent. All right, so that's your process. I remember you were telling me something about. Go ahead.
Say, please do not volunteer any unnecessary information.
Oh boy.
If you were
Jamie,
locked up,
your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking.
my voice is breaking.
No, I think that was Jamie. Or was that me? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Go ahead, Jamie. You were asking a question?
Yes, I tell people, please
Yeah, I
don't
think we
volunteer
lost Jamie.
any unnecessary. I see Jamie.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
we're here. You're not hearing, Paul. Let Althea finish.
Christy,
Yeah,
can you
Paul,
hear
let
me?
me finish while I got good service.
Zarina, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Okay.
I
Yes, I
can hear Althea. Can you hear her, Paul?
Okay, let me mute myself. Like I'm the one with the issue.
Sorry about that, Althea.
No. It's okay.
All right, go ahead now.
Okay. Information. I try to tell people, please don't volunteer any unnecessary info. If it did not ask you, do not volunteer it. That's very important. But again, try to be as forthcoming and as honest as possible. When you're picking the people, like I said, because these are important things, when you're picking the people for them to talk to, please make sure you let these people know that the investigators is coming to talk to them. Because and make sure you pick people that are going to be professional. All of this matters. Credit, your background. Oh, and if you have a criminal history, please make sure you put that information down accurately. Now, in the end, so the next step will be the agency that's processing you. They'll do their things. Now, you may send over something called an prelim, or it's called something else, a provisional letter, which will allow you to start working. This does not mean that you have been adjudicated. It doesn't mean that you've gotten it doesn't mean that you have your final adjudication. It just meant your check all checked out, and we're going to allow you to start working right now. If for some odd reason you get what's called a LOI, what is that for? I think it's called a letter of intent. It means that they are inquiring, requesting more information of you. You have 30 days to respond to that. If you do not respond to that within 30 days, you will get a denial letter. Now, if you provide them with the information and or for some odd reason you get denied, you have 30 days from that date to what's the word I'm looking for here? To try to get it overturned. If you do not within 30 days, you will be considered denied, and you have to wait for an entire year to reapply.
Wow.
So I think I pretty much touched on
I have one question.
everything from my angle.
Can the employer look at the information in Equip on the employee? Can they do that?
No, that is your private business. Only the investigator and the agency that's doing the investigation on you can. As PJ Pros, I can't go in and see that.
You know what I mean? Should I continue my lie or just start fresh? So that's good to know.
No.
Just tell the truth on your Equip.
Please do not lie on the Equip. That's very imperative, because the moment that you do, then we have an integrity issue, and that could get you denied. It probably very well get you denied. And another thing I want to touch bases on, and the investigator can attest to this. When you're dealing with the investigator, please don't be rude. Mm-hmm. That investigator is holding your livelihood in their hands. So if you're rude to them and they put a note in the system that you are aggressive, make it denied. I'm not saying like be their best friend and try to buy them a bottle of their favorite drink, but please be professional at all times.
Right. We have a
question.
All right, Althea, and this is along the other lines. Jaron asks, can the employer ask you to send them a copy of the equip before you submit it?
No,
Okay.
no, they cannot. That is, again, that is your private information. No one should be seeing your SF 85 except you and the agency that's actually doing the background check on you.
Oh, that's excellent. Okay. All right. So, so we see that process now. Thank you so much, Althea. And through Althea, we're going to be able to speak with an adjudicator, but this will be after Christy speaks. Is that okay, Althea?
Yeah, that's fine. I actually sent her the link, so hopefully she joined and can speak for herself.
Okay.
That way you guys can hear her clearly.
Yeah, just let us know. We'll promote her to panelists. All right, so thank you so much, Althea. We're going to move on to Christy Roundtree. Once again, she's special agent officer with the, well, she worked as a special agent officer with the Office of Personnel Management between 2009 and 2016. And Christy, the ball is in your court. Tell us about what you did, what your job is like.
Okay, well, thank you. So as a special agent, special investigator, field agent, I was pretty much one of the individuals who would receive a case file for a prospective applicant who has completed their SF-85, SF-86. Now granted, I have not been in that field since 2016, so I'm not sure, of the forms if they've changed. But when I did it for 7 years, it was the 85 and SF-86 that, pretty much made up their case papers. And so I would get a case on a prospective applicant. Once I received those case papers, I would look over the case papers from front cover to back cover. That's what we call briefing the case papers. And before I even hit the streets, to go and get records and to talk to people, I would scrub down those case papers. I would look for discrepancies. I would look for overlapping. I would look for gaps. If, there was a gap in your employment, a gap in your residences that you listed. I would look at your foreign travel, look at any of your answers to the questions about any court activity, criminal activity. I would go through all of that information, jotting down notes, because that's going to help me when I would go out to speak to people on your behalf. So I'm going to mention those things to see if they're aware of X, Y, or Z. The key thing was the information that was on the case papers that drove the investigation. We went wherever the information went. And, to make sure the adjudicators have everything they need. If there was an issue that was listed on a case paper, we would have to go and get records. We would have to talk to people. We would have to give them enough data and information so that when they sit down to do their adjudication, that they have enough information to do so. Otherwise, it comes back to us and we have to go back out, and we may even have to talk to you again, which I would say is not a negative thing if you do get a follow-up call from an agent to sit down and meet with you. It's not a negative thing. We just might need some more information so that the adjudicators can make a determination. But that is essentially what I did. I went, I got records from courthouses, educational institutions. I got rental records. I got unemployment records. I got self-employment records, you name it. I got records, employment records, whatever we could get a record from, I got records. So that was, the main thing. I also talked to people. I interviewed people that were listed on the form. We don't just interview the people on the form. And no, we cannot give, a list of everybody that we're going to talk to. I always tell people the people you put in the form is a starting point. But, we can't just talk to the people that are on the form, because then it's like you're driving the investigation. So, so, you know, we always would talk to however many people we needed to talk to that you listed. And then over the course of the investigation, we still talk to other people as we develop additional sources. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I did. And I just wanna, oh, I'm sorry. I saw someone, it says someone
No,
can't.
you're fine. You're fine. Whoever said that, that must be on your end because I can hear it just fine.
Oh, okay, okay. And so that is, you know, that is pretty much what I did. And I have to tell you, you know, I did sit down and I did interview the applicants and, you know, to go over the information that they submitted on their SF 85 or 86. And I concur with Althea, please be honest, you know, be truthful. Just let us know. I always used to tell people when I would meet with them to go over the information to type up the reports, because I would type up the report of our meeting. Then I would go out and meet with people in regards to that person, get records. All that goes into one big report that I have to type up and I have to submit. So I always say, please, you know, if there's an issue in your case papers, let's sit down and talk about it. Let's, you know, give me the information, because we don't want just the adjudicators just to have a record. We want them to have the story behind the record. You know, sometimes they're mitigating circumstances. You know, so give me all the information surrounding what happened, you know, what led up to that event. You know, did you have things going on in your life? You know, do you feel like that contributed to maybe making you not make the best decisions at that point? You know, help me to give them all the information to assist, you know, when they make a determination. So those are the things that I would tell people. So I know it could be kind of an anxious time, you know, and very personal. You know, we get very personal. You're listing all your information on there. But I definitely encourage people to be honest, and you know, we are there to represent you, you know, to be your voice. I would always tell people, I'm going to type up what you give me, you know, so help me, you know, to help you pretty much. So just, you know, if that kind of helps with a little bit of the anxiety, you know, we're not on a vendetta, you know, the field agents to, you know, make sure you don't get it, you know, it should never be a personal thing. It's just a matter about making sure that the adjudicators have what they need to assess your suitability. So I just say, you know, don't be too nervous. Ask questions, ask clarification. If you don't understand a question that is being asked of you when you do meet with an investigator, and that's if your level of background requires you to meet with one, then, you know, just ask them, you know, I'm not sure if I understand, you know, this is your interview, it's your investigation. So, so just, you know, just be mindful of that. And yes, please be honest, and definitely get your documentation and get everything ready, because we need all that information, and it helps expedite the process.
Awesome. Now I have some questions of one person here. He asked, or she asked, if you've had your record sealed or expunged, does this info still need to be included?
So, you know, I can't tell you how to answer your questions on your questionnaire, but the questions that ask you ever, you should answer the question based on how it's asking you. Now, when we go to get records, you know, now granted, I haven't done this since 2016, but, you know, again, I did do it for 7 years, and I never ran across a record that was expunged, you know, so, you know, to my knowledge, when records are expunged, they're not made available to the public. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't list it, because you don't know if a hit is going to come up in one of those database searches that they do. So I just want to tell you that, because, you know, an ever means ever. You know, I do remember that. An ever means ever question.
Yeah, that's key. Amy, have you ever?
I wanted to chime in on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in on that too, because you have to be sure that you read that question correctly. Some of the questions ask about your activities within the last 7 years, and some of the questions say ever. And that's why what she just said is very important. Is if this says ever, I would definitely list it. And you could, I believe in the end, you can actually click that it was expunged. And oh, there was one other thing I forgot to mention. Another thing too, at the end, you can upload documents to validate any situation that you listed on form. So let's use this as the question about your background check. Your if you was ever locked up, if it was expunged. If you have your expungement paperwork, upload it to the document to your clearance to your paperwork as well, so that they'll have that information already when they come out to speak with you.
Right.
So
Now
I have a
repeat
quick
that.
question on that, if you don't mind, Jamie. So I remember my car insurance, right? I got in a couple car accidents, and I was not at fault for either one of them. However, my insurance company still raised my premium. And I was very upset about that. I called them. I said, these were not my fault. They said, sir, you got into 2 accidents in the same year. You are, therefore, it's not a coincidence anymore. And my insurance premium went up. So what I would like to ask is, as I'm stating and disclosing these expungement, is it still considered as if it were never there? Or is it still being placed into consideration even though it was expunged?
I can't say about the consideration.
Yeah, I was going to say the
Adjudicator,
same thing. That would probably,
know.
yes, definitely the adjudicate. That's a question for the adjudicate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do know as a field agent, if I run across that record, I am going to report that record, you know.
Wow. Let me see. Just
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Yes. So what I will do, I will list it and I will give the explanation. What happened?
Right, exactly. Like what, it upload all the information associated with it, I guess, one thing, Christy, I remember you saying is just the more information, the better, because you look at the circumstances around the issue. You know what I mean? So it can help to, weigh in your favor, Let's see, we got 11 questions here. So one person asked, Joshua asked, I'm married to a UK foreign national. How does this complicate the process, Christy?
Well, I would say, if I had to meet with you to go over your paperwork, just be prepared. I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions about your level of contact with foreign nationals, because you are married to, a foreign national. I definitely would ask you, of course, we can't get everyone, but definitely close, regular, ongoing contacts. How many people, are not your citizens that you have regular, close, ongoing foreign contact. And then, and what means? Phone, in person? Are you guys meeting up? I would ask, where, if it is in person, where, just different questions, like a whole slew of questions that we would need information on to provide to the adjudicator, so that they understand the level of your relationship with foreign nationals, how much contact you have, and then they can make a determination if there's anything, any concerns there. So, but yeah, just, if you do, in your situation, if you are married to a foreign national, then when you meet with an investigator, if, again, not all investigations require you to, but if your level of investigation requires you to meet with an investigator, then you're going to be asked a lot of questions about your interactions with foreign contacts and foreign travel, foreign financial, anything foreign. So be prepared for that, and don't feel, attacked or be on the defensive. So.
Awesome. I have another question. Someone said, how are the employment verification done? Is it by calling the employer? So if you wrote a job on the equip, that is also on your resume. Oh, sorry, to keep on. The employer verifies that you worked there, even if you didn't work there and work. So I guess what the person is saying, they lied on their resume, but they want you to know how's the employment verification done. Is it just by calling the employer?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to reach out to the employers based off of the information that you list on your forms. Now, I mean, that's not our only means. That's a starting place. Like, what everyone needs to understand is like the case papers are the starting place. We will list that information, but sometimes, I remember it didn't happen often, but sometimes people would intentionally list wrong numbers and wrong addresses. But you know, when I was with OPM, they trained us. They trained us to locate what we needed to locate and who we needed to locate.
Awesome. All right. Let me see. Someone asked about they did a phone interview in the summer, right? And his father worked on some Chinese, I guess, work with some Chinese agency. Just wondering, he was concerned that this will cancel his application. How would you look at that kind of scenario?
Again, that is, I can't, those determinations are for the adjudicators, but
Right, the adjudicator.
it comes up, most of the times, I mean, and the questions could have changed over the last couple of years, but most of the time questions are about your level of contact with foreign nationals, and not so much, your extended relatives. Now, if that has changed, then, just report the information and give, just tell it, just let it be known, because the worst thing is for it to be developed through interview with someone else and say, yeah, actually I think so and so, their father such and such, it's always better if it's disclosed by you versus developed from interviewing or talking to someone else.
Right. Excellent. Let's see. A lot of people are essentially asking the same things about the equip, which is, can the employer, do one person asked if on the would you pull their resume and compare it with what they've written in equip, or you only go from what's in the equip and build from there? Like, would you go onto their USA jobs to see if their resume matches with what's in equip?
No, I didn't do that. When I got the case file, now I don't know, again, I'm just speaking from the years that I did it. I just worked with the case file that I had, it had a printout of, all of their case papers, the form that they fill out. It had, if there were some credit counts that we needed to talk about, I had their credit report, if there, whatever I needed to get going, and sometimes I had resumes in there and sometimes I didn't. If I have the information, I'm going to compare it. I'm going to go through it. But if I didn't have the resume, it didn't hinder or stop anything. But sometimes I did have the resume and I would absolutely compare it. Again, looking for discrepancies, looking for overlaps, looking for, consistency, gaps, and everything.
Awesome. I remember you're talking about, at the time in 2016, they were saying, okay, maybe you can start looking into social media. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
So yeah, towards the time before I left, I know that some field agents were it was just being able us to start looking at how we can use social media in regards to locating people, regards to, so it wasn't just something that became regular practice. It actually was just being discussed, and I think, it was just a thing of like how we can use this, because it's a tool. If you put information out there, you have to be cognizant of the fact that, it can be used. For example, I mean, I'm not saying that they use it, but if you say on your paperwork, you have no foreign travel, but on Facebook, you are showing you're in Mexico, and I don't know, to what degree, it can be used, but because they were just starting to look into how we can start utilizing social media. And that was in 2016 before I left. So I'm not sure, but just I would err on the safe side and
Awesome.
govern yourself accordingly.
Yeah. And I have a question in regards to so we talked about social media and had a great follow-up question and it just flew. um so all right. So make sure that your social media, reflects, like do a Google search, guys. Search your name up, see what pops up. Like for me, I'm thinking about all my fun parties I had in college that I may have to go and adjust. Um, let's see. Oh, drug use, right? What if, like, because I never did, right? Smoked weed potentially like in college or, in high school, right? Or even recently, like, does that affect you?
So I think Zarina might be best, but I will say this: list it. Do not list it. Because
Mhm.
many times I sat across from applicants, in meetings, going over their paperwork, and we got to the drug question, and they said no to all the drug questions, and then I'm out there talking to people, interviewing them, and they were like, yeah. Well, back in the day, we used to such and such. It was like back in the day, approximately what time frame? I can't to start getting information,
Mhm.
and people's recollection is not always the best. So if they say maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, and
Mhm.
like, keep talking, so and then,
Mhm.
that's not a great thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. That's excellent. I'm thinking to move on. Thank you so much, Christy Roundtree. We truly appreciate it. If you can hang on, because I know we're going to do a little question and answer a little bit later.
Sure.
But I'm going to move on to our adjudicator friend. We're so grateful to have her. And I do believe she is on. Thea, is she on?
I'm on.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So we wanted to just get some input um from her to see, well, her view on her side of the process of the her side of the security clearance process.
Well, my side of the security clearance process is I work under DHS. I'm a personnel security specialist, and really, I grant or deny provisional employment based on what we've learned from the background so far prior to the completion of the background investigation.
Awesome.
So I was listening to what you guys were saying and everything. So as far as the SF-86, well, I just logged on, so I only heard like the end part. But as far as the SF-86, I just want to let people know to pay attention to the question.
Mhm.
Don't give, more information than what they're asking for. Because once you disclose the information, it has to be addressed.
Right.
So as far as drug use, I know it says, I think 7 years for drug use and stuff like that. As far as foreign nationals, like she said, we don't really go to like, who's associated with your relatives. It's pretty much who you're associated with
Oh,
and the level of association. So if it's something that could possibly be detrimental to the government, or if we feel like it can be an influence to you making decisions, then they might find you unsuitable. But
mm.
for the most part, adjudication is like agency based. All agencies have different guidelines. So you can't really have like you can give like a general, overview of what they're looking for, but really it's agency based.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's excellent. I have a question in regards to the people around you, right? There's a lot of people that have criminal family members, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
in my case, people who've been deported, right? How does
Mm-hmm.
that, how does that play into the, how you see the application?
It depends on, we look into your contact with that person. Is it close and is it
Mhm.
continuous? And
Okay.
did you have knowledge of the illegal, if they come into the country illegally, you may have been a child when your parents came. They won't hold that against you. But if you're
Mm.
grown, you're 20 some years old and you still live with your parents and they are here illegal, then that may have, they may find you unsuitable to get a clearance.
Wow.
Because it could
Wow.
be they call that a foreign influence.
Foreign influence. Wow. And there are certain countries on the list that are higher up or lower down, or it's all the same?
They're all the same.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Mhm.
That's excellent knowledge. Let me
I have a
see.
quick
I'm just
question,
go ahead, Paul.
if you don't mind, Thea. Just to kind of go back to that social media question. I know that you're currently actively working. Have you came across an issue where someone's social media was reviewed?
Not on my end, as far as grant and provisionals. We don't look into the social media. Now, once they dig into your background, you know, once they go through with the whole complete background investigation, social media may play a part in it. So we've already, like, I work for the federal government, so we have had to sign papers, you know, where it's only certain stuff we can put on social media.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay,
I would
okay.
tell you, like, don't put your drug use on social media or anything criminal. It may come up in your background.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. How about DUIs? How do you see those?
DUIs, the time, if it's dated,
Mm-hmm.
we pay attention to it, of course. But if it's dated, but if you have multiple DUIs, it shows like a pattern of conduct, you may be found unsuitable.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good to know. I everything that I'm looking at here, you know, was along the lines of DUI. Is there any other advice that you can give us, or that you think on the top of your head? Because you know the thing about it is that it's so dark. We don't realize, well, how are, you know, Black people, right, or white people, is there different ways? Do you ever, you know, I guess that's a very um it's a very tough question, I guess, but do you ever feel like there that, you know, a certain group of people may be more disadvantaged than others just because of what they're surrounded with, or, you know, have you ever felt that way?
No, when we doing the background investigations or when I'm doing suitability reviews, we don't know their race. We just
Okay.
go off of what is written on paper. That's basically everything that any decision we made is based off of what that person submitted to us or what we've done, you know, because we also do, you know, we do the NCIC checks and we do the credit checks and we do, I do foreign relative checks, you know, because if you tell me like, you know, your parents are foreign born, I'm going to check them to make sure that they are in the United States legally. So we don't. Race is never an issue for us. We just go off of what was submitted and what we found during the investigation.
Awesome. Another question that was asked was, is there a polygraph required for secret clearance or any of the clearances?
As for what is it? There is a polygraph clearance. Althea, which one? Althea took a polygraph, correct, Althea? I think she's on the phone. I think it's
Wow.
the TS. Is it the TS? It's the TS poly. So they're not required for all. They're not required for all clearances. It depends on the information that you would have, the information that you would use during your course of duty.
And
Okay.
even, can I say something?
I think that Paul is actually by HC as well. I mean, I do have one, and that's because HC I was working for required. So 5 months. And essentially, my policy, that's another reason why it's not true on your FFA, because you never know what you know in life, and you may have someone.
Oh, Alfie is breaking up so bad.
Yeah, you're breaking up very badly, Althea. I thought maybe it was me again. Well, yeah, your voice is breaking up really bad.
What she was saying is that, yeah, the polygraph is agency based. The polygraph is, you know, is it going to be a requirement for your job duty? That's the only time you would have to take one. But most of the time, they have a lifestyle poly, but then they also have a general poly. But they're just asking you questions on whether you would do anything to overthrow the government. It's not lifestyle. So they're not going to talk about any prior drug use or anything like that.
Okay.
But again, it's agency based and it's on a need to know basis for your job requirement.
Awesome. My next question is, what do you find typically gets people rejected?
Right now, most of my rejections come from sexual behavior, like child pornography, stuff like that, and drug use. That's pretty much all. Most of my rejections, like about, I'd say 80% of my rejections are sexual behavior or drug use. That's it.
Wow. Wow.
Can
Didn't
I
know
ask
that.
a question?
Go ahead.
When you say sexual behavior, what do you mean? Would you please elaborate?
Like child pornography, stuff like that. I've had a couple of like prostitution cases. Well, that's really like a personal conduct thing. It's not always like illegal, depending on where you're at. So you can't really use that. But child pornography, that's always a disqualification for me. And drug use. But again, it's agency based. The agency that I work for, we have a guideline. So the drug use is not the 7 years that's on the SF-86. Our guideline for drug use is only 2 years.
Wow.
Even if you put it on your SF-86 that you smoked marijuana in 2016, well, we're in 2021, so that's not something that my agency, would find you unsuitable for.
Okay. Is there, Thea, is there a way for you to find the agency that you're applying for, their regulation and their standards? No, okay.
When you fill out the SF-86, like she said, you just always got to be honest. My agency, we require a polygraph. So whatever you write on your SF-86, they're going to ask you about it during the polygraph.
Okay.
So if you say you've never used drugs on your polygraph, they're going to ask you that during the on the SF-86, they're going to ask you that during the polygraph. And if you fail that part, then. But some people come clean. They put no on the SF-86, and then when they get in the poly, they come clean. They say, yeah, I have used drugs before, but it may be outside the guidelines.
Okay. I have a quick question for you, if you don't mind. So my experience, I used to be on the contractor side of doing the background for employees that come through our contract company. And one of the things that I've noticed is that, hey, you send your paperwork, your equipment to this, what we call a black hole, and then it comes back with a yes or no, right? And if you get a no, that's it. There was no contest. And I can say, for the most part, from what my experience, the contractors do not contest it or anything like that. But as an individual, I've walked people out the door and say, I'm sorry, you just didn't make it because, they already started, got the badge and everything. As an individual, what rights do you, I don't know if you can speak on this, what rights do you have as an individual to say, hey, there's a misunderstanding, can I have an appeal?
I have had personal experience, not at my job, but with people I've worked with who have appealed a clearance that was denied. So there is a process that you can go through. I don't know if it's with OPM. The lady that was on here doing the background investigation, she may know. I don't know if it's through OPM, or if it's through the if I can think of the name, the people that actually grant the clearance. I know DOD used to do it, but there is an appeal process. If your clearance is denied, you can appeal it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, typically, you should get something in the mail or an email telling you that, and it has a set of instructions on how to appeal it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's big because not a lot of people know they can appeal, or they just see denied and they just continue on with their life really sad, not knowing that, hey, I could explain this, hey, or go see a lawyer, right? Who can tell you what to do and what to write. Somebody wrote, they asked, they have one equip, right, that they filled out in 2019. Now they have to do another one in 2021. Is that compared, or is that all the same information?
It's compared, because if you have some information on that one from 2019, like again, you say in 2019, well, no, I never used drugs. And then you put on the one on 2021, okay, well, I did use drugs back in 2012, which was before you filled out that SF-86 for 2019. They are going to ding you for that discrepancy.
No. Wow.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
Follow up. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions. I think what people might want to know also is, let's say I was young and I made a mistake and I lied on my equip form and I was denied for lying. Now I'm 30 and I want to apply again. And now I'm being as truthful as possible. Will my past come back to haunt me for being dishonest?
Well, I know with my agency, once, because some people have said they intentionally, like when they take the polygraph, they say, well, I intentionally omitted my drug use for, because I didn't think I would be selected for the position. Well, we just have a time frame on when they can apply again.
Okay. I hear sometimes it's 2 years, usually.
For my agency, it is 2 years.
Okay. That's good. I'll try to see if there are any questions or
Yes,
any
we have
thoughts.
a lot of them. Lots of questions.
I had to sift through some of them because people are asking kind of like the same things. The truth of the matter is, be truthful in your equip, right? And make sure your stuff connects, right? So if you know that they selected you for the job, you may want to pull down your resume off of Indeed so they don't go looking at your resume and saying, oh, this is not corrected equip, right? Make sure your online presence is clean and everything fits together, everything matches.
Mm-hmm.
They spoke about people. Make sure you have to think ahead and think, okay, they will interview these people I suggested, but let me ask these people, who would they suggest for me? So you can have you could be one step ahead, right?
Here's a question that I think that was not really answered. Do you check tax forms from the IRS or unemployment record?
As far as suitability, adjudication, or as far as the background investigation? I think all of that is taken care of in the background investigation or on your credit report.
Okay.
Yes, I was gonna say, I know there were times when we did have to get records from the IRS and from the state of Maryland, but it always credit report driven. If they were showing it was a lien, showing as any delinquency, then we would have them sign a specific release for those accounts, and we would go get them, so we can get that record. So. I wanted to mention, because I think someone mentioned something about bringing that information, gathering all your documents to get ready, just have a sit down for your interview, and bringing the records and stuff. That's great. We always receive the records when people would give them to us, but please know we still want to get our own records. It's just because we can't just go off of the records that are provided to us, because we can't verify the origin of the record. So it's still a great thing for you to have it, but if we still ask you to sign a specific release, we still, go out and get a copy of the record, just know that it's because we have to do that. We can't just take the record that you're giving us,
Someone asked, is it a bad idea to disclose your disability when filing?
My knowledge, that is not ever a factor. But maybe adjudications can speak to that.
No, a disability, no, because you're covered under the Federal Disability Act. That's a federal law. So you disclosing, you can't be discriminated over a disability.
Oh, okay. And also she said, is there filing assistance for people with disabilities?
Yeah. I'm the background investigator. You talking about doing the SF-86?
I guess so. It's just a question. I guess it's filling out the information. So I guess there should be the employer. That's probably an employer question.
Yeah, it's always. I think there's always, when you're filling out the SF-86, there is something that says if you need assistance with completing this form, you can call this number or whatever. And there is always someone to assist you with filling out the SF-86.
Okay, awesome.
I have a question. This is from an anonymous. How do you determine if a decision has been made? Do you receive any form of communication? And I will follow up with this. I do know a lot of people who say, I fill out my secret form. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'm hearing back. And they try to call, but then they feel timid about calling, right? reality versus your rights, right? What rights do you have as an individual to see, hey, what's the status on my background investigation when you've got the big giant contractor and the federal agency that you're just, quite frankly, just intimidated to ask because you
Oh
feel
no,
like there might be retaliation.
oh, we get emails all the time questioning the status of their background investigation, and it's either I mean, they get a letter at the end whether you're suitable or not. That'll come at the end, but during the investigation, we'll just let you know, oh, your background is still, it's still pending. But they don't be like, oh, well, it's pending because, tax information or credit information. They just say it's still pending. So you can always email the agency or the contractor or the FSO or whoever it is and just find out, hey, what's the status? I, filled out the clearance forms a while ago. I just want to know the status of it.
Okay. We have one quick question. So someone asked, if one of their parents came here there illegally, right? And I know you spoke to that, but just to answer his question, I mean, how can he protect himself if he's going to go through the clearance process?
Well, I mean, it's going to be disclosed anyway. If you write your parents' name on the SF-86 and they are foreign born, it will be checked.
Okay.
I mean, and again, it goes back to the close and continuous contact with that person.
No, okay. Okay. And okay.
I know we're running short on time. Thea and everyone, I'm guessing we have a hard stop at 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. But I just want to, and we won't do a question. And we might just have to, we'll probably respond to everybody else later because a lot of the questions are the same.
I would like to ask one for Nia, though, if we can close it out with Nia Wright's question. She says she's interested in a job of a background investigator. She's looked up positions and they'll require a few years of experience. How does she start up, or does it require course certification? How does she get into the field?
No, when I became one, I did it based off my education. I qualified. I didn't have the experience, but I qualified solely off of my degree. So I'm not 100% sure, about that. But if you do have a degree, that's a good starting point. And then if you have any type of experience in the law, legal field, that's also a good one. I remember my training class was all retired law enforcement or degree or some type of, legal background. But I'm not sure since it has been a few years since I worked in that field.
Okay. All right.
Theo, what can we ask about you as well? Like, how did you get into that? Pardon?
I transitioned from one position to another and eventually landed as the initiator for equip.
Oh, okay.
It didn't require, my position did not require education, experience. It was more like, hey, you've been here for a while, we're going to move you to this position now.
Oh, okay.
I can't speak on that for every other place. I moved around in the agency, the company I was working for, and landed the position eventually.
Okay, and also for Althea, adjudicator, how did you get into the field? Or what can you suggest people do to get into that field?
Okay, well, I was a contractor. So the contracting job, actually, I was just on the Indeed like everyone else. Put my resume on there. I did take a few adjudication classes through DOD. They were offering free training online, and I just took minimal classes, like introduction classes. So I had a couple of those under my belt, and they called me. So I started there as a contractor within the agency, reviewing equips. That's pretty much all I did. I reviewed equips and credit reports and stuff like that, and pushed it on to the next level. And then after about 4 or 5 years there and experience, when they had positions open, I just went online and applied with OPM, and with my experience and a couple of courses that I had,
I got hired, and then from there, you take training, and they just move you up. With your grades, you move up different levels. So I started out reviewing Eclipse, and then we would take classes, and then they'll push you up to the next level.
Oh, that's excellent. And I just want to thank everybody, because, we are a small community. We look out for each other. I want to thank you, Christy, for your time. Thank you so much. Thank you, Thea and Althea. I am so grateful for you too, because what you guys have done, you have given a lot of power to a lot of people who needed that help and needed that hand up. And the fact that you guys are here, it means so much to us, because, with our company, our goal is what we like to do. We like to create community. We like to create support, because we all need it, and what you guys did was a huge blessing. I pray great blessings upon you guys. And I thank everyone that attended. Thank you, Serena. Thank you everyone for attending. I appreciate you guys so much. I'll send you guys an email with some resources and try to answer some of the questions that didn't get answered.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you can always email us at info@pjpros.com. I'd like to ask Christy, Althea and Thea, thank you guys again. We can't echo that enough. I was wondering, would you ladies be open to a possible part 2 and maybe joining us in the future? No pressure, just on live camera.
I don't.
Sure, I don't have a problem with it.
Yes.
Oh, it's a blessing.
Yes, I would. I definitely am. Yes, I would like to.
All right, everybody heard that. We had a verbal contact.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. It's been great. I know people felt like it was short. I know people would definitely want to hear more, and appreciate it, y'all. Thank you so much.
All right, have a wonderful day, everybody. Happy Saturday.
All right, take care.
Thank you, no problem.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.
Bye, Serena. Take care.